So, quick little look at the pain points of why five Sunders Police got a second place run and not a first place run. They ended up getting like 8 seconds faster than their previous best. So, um, it's funny how people are just not okay with that, right? They want to be the best. So, we'll just talk about why this outcome happened and how it leads up into next week, because it really does just kind of come down in my mind between Eternal and Five Sunders Please as far as who's going to end up having the fastest run. This run had potential to be the best for sure. So again, at the start here, nothing super crazy, important, or anything like that. This whole area is kind of just standard. This boss kind of standard, you just cleave, cleave, cleave. This area kind of standard. So how did they handle this first pull? I don't feel like super great. I feel like that Eternal has it better as far as that they don't cleave these ads down at the start. Look at how much damage everyone's taking from this first tick of bleed that happens, and then the round of knockbacks because they don't have them in the corner first. So to me, that's just like a clear difference, and it's an example of why I feel like it is better to do it the Eternal way that they did it for their best run. So this next one comes in. Um, Boss is on its way back. So kind of same scenario in both runs as far as the boss got pulled while they're doing this pack. The timing on this and the level of damage though, it felt like was a little bit higher though and more ideal in this run. So it felt to me like the start was really good from these guys. A little bit scary, but they managed to get it done. And they cleave down Kree, they move out of the way. I feel like the poison positioning was a little bit better for this group. They didn't take quite as much damage, it felt like. This area was just not as chaotic. And the Eternal run, this place just felt like super chaotic and Klosto right here. So they handled it well, and they didn't have the Hunter grief as far as the knockback happening where it went back to full health. So moving forward, the Matter pull went well. They stack all the ads really well there. All sapper them down. All the ads melt. Good snowballs. In a raid like this, everyone just has so much health, so it does look a little scary, but you just slip when you're low health, and they're able to kill this. A little scary, but they get it done. So now they're killing the first round of ads here. I feel like these guys didn't cleave the ads down as much at the start. Let's just watch this. So they have someone running forward, tank with some AoE stuff, able to hold all those ads. They're just grabbing a whole ton of ads here. So they all get pretty far still on their mounts. They unmount, start using speed items. So they all rocket boot. We're nifty. Basically already at the end. But there's like so many ads. I feel like not enough people used oils in this area. If everyone in the raid had oils, this trash would have just melted. But there's so many ads. They all die at the end, so it's not a big deal. But it's just interesting. I just don't feel like they're melting at all. So many. So then they Holy Nova them down at the end. Easy peasy. Looks like all the little ads are dead. So this is where it gets weird. This is where the run falls apart. There's little ads that spawn on Fankriss, and I guess when you pull them this far away, the people in the back are kind of exposed. So that's what happens. Yes, Dave gets pretty low here. And I think he gets bopped. He gets really low. And they bop him. And all the ads go to Grom. Grom just instantly dies. Then Smokes dies here as well. And the Hunter dies up front. So worst case scenario. They end up killing those scorpions way up there. Raid is like all split up, just gets super weird. So yeah, like it was the hatchlings that killed all these people. I just don't really understand. Like I looked at the logs as far as um I just wish I could see from these guys' perspective. It just doesn't really make sense to me. The hunter dying, that happens. You really want to send your pet in on those. But anyways, so yeah, that's where the run gets bricked. But we'll just continue forward because they kind of pull it back a little bit. The rogue, I will give the rogue credit here, saves the day. It gets a really good giga pull. So gets the scorpions and like all the packs together. They're able to blast it down and go like straight into Hoo Hoo. Unfortunately, it looks like one of the warriors didn't use FAP. I think kind of unfortunate. They die, so rip. Anyways, they can go straight into Hoo Hoo, but this is where the run again just really ends from being a number one run. Thunderclap and Meteor is the toughest combo. It really stresses this raid out. Groms had died previously, so he had to bubble there to not die. They recover from it, but they're now trying to catch up with Volley as they're trying to heal, and this area just feels awkward. Again, I can't tell. Well, yeah, Judgmental Light is on, so it definitely is helping. But here's the tragedy. The tank gets plague, so the tank does have to kind of just stay in the raid, right? So they're plaguing the raid a little bit um, while they're trying to move forward, while there's some people not in the raid that are taking heavy damage from plague. Looks like a volley hit one person there. So the mage had already died once. Lower health pool dies again here. Multiple people are dying. That volley then takes out some more people, I think, as far as just like the wombo of more and more deaths happening. So they don't lose a whole ton of DPS power. They've lost like one warrior so far, but it's just having to res 4 people, 5 people potentially. A little hard for me to tell. Anyways, rough. So at this point, run's kind of over in terms of they're behind. But again, someone dies here. So I think there's a Mind Slayer in the back. Yeah, so they put the Mind Slayer away in the back, so when it dies, it doesn't interrupt the rest of the raid. But the problem is the poor guy in the back tanking the Mind Slayer just dies to it. So Rip Panzer there. So yeah, they move forward, having to res that guy in the back. Kind of crazy pull here. Let's just look at this pull. So first Eradicator pack comes in, or nullifiers I should say. And then they pull the other nullifiers, and they start just getting a ton of abilities back to back. Could have been really scary. I mean, it was scary. So they get a fear there, they get out of it. Another fear happens into roots, just really unfortunate. People are getting cleansed though, and they're able to finish it off as they move forward. So I do feel like this level of cleave was really good for them. They kill this pack as they have the other pack coming in. Final pack is about to come in. So they're pulling this final pack while they still have a champion alive. So they all get silenced here. Looks like basically none of the casters did. The casters had good positioning on this. People are getting low, but they're going to get through it. Only champions left, and they're being controlled by the tanks. I noticed, though, that Myosin uses Death Wish there. Seems like not the end of the world as far as this next boss is going to go pretty well. But just interesting to see when people are using their big DPS cooldowns not on bosses. So rip, 3 people just died. Oreo popped up as they're doing this pack. And when it pops out of the ground, it just owned him. Wombo of proximity damage. So when you see the popcorn like that in the ground, a little hard to see, there's the problem. So yeah, just kind of chaotic, a little hectic, but they pull it together. And one more person does die here on Oro, so let's just watch the Oro rest of this fight. Here comes a knockback pretty soon, and healers get hit by the knockback. I don't know if there's somewhere to stand where you don't, but it's just kind of rough. The knockback happened, and then Anime got hit towards the Sandblast location, I guess. Just need to move out of the way if possible, better positioning to make sure that doesn't happen. But so they're just down 4 healers right now, going into Cthulhu, which isn't the end of the world. They put on their mouth gear, run to Cthulhu as soon as they can, blast it down. And they do have, what is it, 2 deaths here? Yeah, so Neo just didn't get a heal, was at like 3 to 5% health for a while. And then a Mind Flay got him. And there's going to be one more person that gets got by a Mind Flay here. So a little bit of DPS loss in the end. Unfortunately, a couple more warriors who lose their DMF isn't great because the idea is next week is the final week, I think. Maybe 2 more chances, but really one more big chance next week. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Um, if you're interested, I can go over log stuff more later. I'm just very tired and I want to do kind of like just quick little summaries like this, giving some basic commentary and overview. Again, maybe you don't like how I skip through, but to me, in the short term, this is just easy. So looking forward to doing more. Thanks, guys.